Good morning everyone, back to another telephone today. Today we'll take an in-depth look at the model, when I can find it, APA 8008/FNC/N, and also has a number after it and letter S.400-254. This is a set made by Citesa of Malaga, which, as you all know, is in Spain. What is it also interesting is that this Citesa is obviously owned or associated with ITT, because you look at the writing on the cradle switch and it's got ITT. That's not the only clue. Right, I will show it with the case on. There's the actual case. But I thought it would be interesting to show you it all in bits. Don't always do this, but I do sometimes. Anyhow, let's start with the handset. Nice typical handset. Your receiver is wired in. Looks not dissimilar from the ones used on a 700, but not the same. It's definitely not the same. Looks well made. Terminations are nice strong termination, permanently wired, or it's with two little nuts, so it's quite good. Anyhow, leaving that, we come to the transmitter or microphone, and here we have an insert, and this is the second clue, which is associated with an American maker. American phones had microphones which, if you looked at the back, which I'm looking now, you wouldn't tell that they were American or Spanish. And in fact, some of the Belgian phones use this type of transmitter. Get right in a minute. Turn him over. And there's the other side. I had a job getting it out of the actual plastic part, but I did. You can see the name around there, Citesa. Obviously the number of the transmitter. Made in Spain. And this, as I say, has two contacts, the outer and the middle. And it sits nicely into this phone. If any chance it can become noisy, always check that these contacts are clean and you've got a bit of tension on the two little spring clips that make contact. Anyhow, that's the handset. There's the plastic insert, the screw on. Well made. In fact, the whole phone's well made, I will say that. Anyhow, leaving that, let's come on to the dial. Yet again, we have another similarity to the American dial. This is the dial made, the Western Electric type dial or bell. Not the automatic. The automatic electric are very similar to ones I've shown previously, and they're quite distinct. This is very similar to the American dial. It's rather nice because it's in brass. You haven't got any horrible plasticky bits. You've got your two sets of spring sets. You've got your off normals and the pulsing springs. Which are rather nice. It's, as I say, it's well made. If I can show it partly working, I've got to do it with the other hand, well, this hand, as you can see. What is also interesting is the impulse springs. If you dial 1, the impulse springs go once, which is unlike the other dial I showed where they have to gain a little bit of speed. This one didn't. Dial 1, 1 impulse. Here we have the regulator with its 2 little weights, and this is typical of the American Western Electric type dial. These are the 2 little weights which obviously spin out to control the speed of the dial. You've got the dial number there, and as I say, it is in brass, which I think is very nice. The cover that goes over it isn't clipped on, it's screwed on, and that fits on there like so. Don't worry, I shall put the phone all back together again after I've done this little video. Well, that's the actual dial. Let's have a look at the other side of it. There's the side that you would normally see. Typical dial with a transparent finger wheel and nice clear numbers. Also, I've got to put that little clip back in there. That should be under that plastic part, so I shall redo that. Here we have the bell, or the ringer. Now, as I've said before, these should be adjusted so that the hammer or the clapper just goes ping on the bell, but does not sit on it once it's done the ping. That way you get a nice clear ping. Let me give you a demonstration. I'll use the other hand. That's the centre bell, and that's the outer bell. As you can see, it taps on the bell but does not rest on the bell. That's where you get a nice clean tone. An unusual bell, I would say. I did show one of these on one of my other phones where you've got your 2 gongs, one inside the other. This is a typical shape of the bell coil on certain makes, and obviously this is the one they use on this one. You've got your single coil, 1900 ohms, which is nothing unusual about that. Going on to the circuit board, it's interesting that the terminations are done by pressing like spade contacts into the terminals. No screws are used. This is also typical of some of the American phones. I'm thinking now of the, well, I say American, the Canadian Northern Telecom Princess phone, or Citesa I think it's called in Canada. They had the same type of contacts. I might have shown that at some time, but if I didn't, I'll do one of those. There's your little transformer or induction coil, the side tone, a couple of capacitors. You've got a variable type of capacitor. There is a reason for these. They used to call these I forgot it, sorry, but they used to do on high electrical stuff as like an overload. There's a couple of those, which is also typical in the North American Princess or Citesa phone. You've got a capacitor in the front, more terminations, They're well made actually. You've got your contacts, which I can't show them because they're actually hidden, but they're under there. I had to undo those 4 screws to get the diagram out. I was looking at it, I thought, oh, there's no diagram. And then I saw it, rather knocked about, but the main parts are here. I'll show you. There's the diagram. Hold it on there so you get an idea. I'll get a bit closer. Typical diagram. As I say, it's been, oh my God. Sorry about this. This cat does not like me doing videos, particularly telephone videos. Anyhow, there's the diagram, which I shall make sure goes back inside the telephone, but not underneath this board where it was. And I had a bit of a job getting it out. I had to undo the 4 screws to get it out. Anyhow, that more or less concludes what I've got to say. I'll just pop the cover back on, give you an idea of what. Oh, I won't. Let me put this phone down, my camera down. Hold on. I don't know if you can hear me still. Right, there's the dial. Now the dial goes in like so. I know you can't see it, I do apologise. But certain things you have to do with both hands. And one of them is picking a pussycat up and putting her down on the floor. Hey. Right, sorry about that. We've put the dial back in, and I'll just put the cover on. I won't screw it on. I've got to do a couple more adjustments inside. That is approximately what it looks like with the handset not on at the moment. You've got your earth button down there. And looking at the base, I'll try to show you everything on the phone. Excuse my hands getting in the way. There's the base. Well known, well made. 2 nice captive screws to hold it on. With the name Citesa, which has got that same type of script as Western Electric and that it's something about it. Fabrica, made in obviously Malaga. You've got a little number there as well. That looks like that could be a date. 86. I think I find that's a date. I would say is about right for this phone. There's also that on there, which I don't know what is. Someone else out there might know. That. I don't know what that is. Please tell me if you know. Anyway, thanks again for watching. I will gently put all the bits back. I'm going to have a nice cup of tea. So, thank you. I do appreciate you watching my videos. Mind you, some of you might be driven asleep. Oh yeah, before I go, I nearly forgot. These videos that I do are taken on a camcorder. It's called a Legria HF-R37, made by Canon. Quite a nice little intro. I've had this several years now, or more than several years, quite a few years. I don't know if this model is even made still. But what I was thinking of doing, because I had a shock. Here is the actual battery which fits in. This is one that was actually I bought years ago with this. I can't remember getting this with its own battery, so to me it sounds like I might have picked this up second hand off of eBay. But these batteries, are two of them, were bought afterwards. They fit it, and they're obviously the right number, but they've got a chip in there which indicates or sends an indication out of how much time is left in the battery as regards charge. But on these ones it doesn't do that. You have to touch the screen and it says use the battery that's in there. Anyhow, I looked because I thought, well, these ones are not lasting that long. Hopefully it won't run out when I'm talking now. If it does, I'll apologise. I thought I'll have a look and see how much they are. And I had a shock. They are expensive. 20, 30 quid for a tiny little battery like this. I thought it was a bit of a rip-off. Anyway, I thought, well, I'm going to have a look at perhaps buying another camcorder. And I was completely confused. You look them up. I was thinking of a 4K version. And there's so many shown on eBay. I won't say what supplier they come from, but let's suffice to say it's a well-known supplier. And I thought, well, they look not too bad. Not cheap, but not over expensive. So I thought, well, let's have a little look. Anyhow, the cat's coming back again. I do apologise. The thing was, I looked at this in eBay and also the write-ups on YouTube, and unfortunately they weren't very good. The 4K appeared to not be very truthful, and some of the bits and pieces within the phone, well, keep saying phone, not phone, get it right in a minute, camcorder, didn't match what it should have done. So I thought, well, no, I'm going to grit my teeth and buy a couple new batteries and use this good old Legria, which is a branded name, a name which is very well known, unlike those other camcorders, names I'd never even heard of, and the write-ups on them are not very good. So it always pays to look at the write-ups. If something appears to be too cheap, then it probably is, and not very good quality. Anyhow, I'm going to stop talking now. This pussycat's driving me mad. I know. It's a lovely girl. The other cat can't jump up this high. I think it's probably because they are getting on a bit. But her sister, which is this one here, with the pink collar, can jump up. And it's obviously after some food. I'm going to knock everything down. Anyway, I'm going to go now. Once again, many, many thanks. Thank you for watching. Thank you.